Well, it is a moment that many didn't believe was possible. Pope Leo XIV, the first American pontiff, delivering his first Sunday blessing in Vatican City yesterday. Take a look.
Cari fratelli e sorelle, buona domenica.
Look at that crowd. Over 100,000 people inside of St. Peter's Square to hear Pope Leo XIV give his first message. The new pope argued against war and conflicts, specifically in Ukraine and Gaza, referring to the ongoing conflicts as a, quote, third world war in pieces. Global leaders are expected to attend Pope Leo's inauguration mass next Sunday for his formal installation as pontiff. And our good friend, therapist Colette was in Vatican City on Thursday when this announcement was made, and we're so overjoyed that you're here to tell us about your trip. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So this is incredible. So you were in Italy, and you were telling us in the commercial, you actually were in Sicily, right, for 2 weeks, and then decided with your husband that you would go to Vatican City for just a couple of days. Is that right?
So we had planned to go to Rome, but it was up in the air whether or not we would go to the Vatican City because we found out the Sistine Chapel would be closed, and I was sort of like, oh, I've been there and done that, and my husband really wanted to go, and it was the best decision we ever made because it was life-changing for me.
So tell me what it was like. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. What was it like for you to be there? Now, obviously, none of us knew when the announcement would be made, right? We were all waiting in anticipation, seeing the black smoke, thinking, is it going to take 2 days, 3? It could take weeks. No one really knows, right?
Right. So what was interesting is that when we arrived for our tour, we had a 3-hour tour of the Vatican Museum in Vatican City, and they said, of course, the Sistine Chapel is closed. But our tour guide told us we all think there will be a decision made today. Wow. So the excitement was up immediately because everybody in there was anticipating that we were there on the historic day, potentially. And I walked right by the doors of the Sistine Chapel, so close that I could almost touch them. There was just one little rope, and I'd watched the movie Conclave on the way over. Now, I know that's not completely accurate, but I felt like I had a little more flavor for what it might be like, and I was envisioning all the cardinals back inside and what might be going on. So it was a really surprising stroke of luck that we were there on the day the decision happened.
Watching it on television, I was marveling at the number of people there from any country in the world. You saw them holding up their flags, probably in hopes that, the Pope was going to come from their country.
Yep.
What was that like to be surrounded by people from every part of the globe?
It's going to make me cry again because I have goosebumps thinking about it. It was so powerful and it was so joyful. Everybody, you heard voices in every language. Everybody was hugging people, welcoming people. We met so many people from so many different countries. There was just a spirit of hope and optimism, and that people really wanted to be bonded through what we all share in common instead of all this divisiveness and difference that's been permeating society so much these days.
So the doors open. This gentleman walks out. You're like us. We were all like, okay, who is that, right? Because some people probably had like a little guide to show all the cardinals, wondering, okay, which one is that? So what happens when he walks out?
The crowd is just erupted and electric. It's almost like this pop culture moment, even though it's this world religious leader, where the excitement, the way the whole thing goes from the smoke, which you can't see, that's on a screen in St. Peter's because the actual chimney is back behind. But once that happens, then everybody's anticipating, of course. So there's this heightened fervor. By the time he comes out, the crowd's kind of wild, but it's also positive. And that's what I think made this so different, was the level of positivity. You just didn't see anybody not wanting to join together.
We were talking in the commercial break that it transcends religion and politics. And I think that's maybe the most beautiful thing is, you're Catholic. I'm not Catholic, but I I was still excited, right? That it's a time of hope for everyone.
Yeah, the Pope is really not just the leader of the Catholic Church. He's a major world leader. So I think what it tapped into from what I saw there was that people are really longing for a spiritual leader who's going to bring peace and positivity. We need that right now all over the world. And Americans are, not maybe the most popular in the world at the moment, but I found people to be so warm and embracing. And it's so exciting that it's the first American Pope, but also he represents such multiculturalism, having roots in New Orleans and Peru. And I think it's just good. I'm hopeful that he is going to live up to the promise that so many were looking toward him for that day.
Well, I am just overjoyed for you that you got to be there, Colette. What an experience. And thank you so much for coming in and sharing it with us. And I know you're so grateful. Probably one of the best moments of your life?
Yes, absolutely.
Incredible.
It really was.
It really was. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.